Hi, hello, vanakkam. I'm glad to welcome you all for one more episode of VenBa Talks. And today, I have an amazing founder and managing director of a company. And this is a platform that I've been thoroughly enjoying in the last couple of months. And in fact, just to give you a little background, I do a lot of virtual events, and I've been always looking for some platform which can make my life very easy, and there have been many tools that has come up to help me do the right from ticketing till probably streaming, etc. And I've tried out quite a few tools as well, in terms of finding the right tool for me. In fact, I used to love viewstub so much. I mean, it's not that I love viewstub so much, but viewstub uh, just does one part of what is needed for virtual events very well, but there are other pieces as well for which I need to integrate to various other applications. And secondly, when it came up, I also subscribed for a lesser plan, and probably I did not really realize that I would need a larger plan. So I was constantly in search of a tool which could help me in that, and that's when we this tool came up, and there has been lot of initial discussions that happened on this because we were not really happy with the limits, but then the team was extremely approachable, and they took our feedback seriously and gave a deal and limits which are probably made all of us happy, and in terms of using it rightly for our events. And that is when it got my attention, and I immediately subscribed for it. And what I loved is the kind of onboarding that I had. Though I told them that I'm fairly experienced with my virtual event. Doing virtual events, etc. There was an onboarding person who was assigned to me, and they handholded me, till I set up the whole thing, asking me each and every question. And there was always somebody, who would probably help me out whenever there is a need. And this is the kind of experience that I've had with Onlive, and I kind of approached the team saying that, would you want to come and talk to my community? And they graciously accepted. And today I have Jonathan, managing director of Onlive, with me. Hey Jonathan, welcome to my live stream. We are live on Bring Again and Alston's group, and we are also live on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. And Jonathan, I just shared my experience in terms of why I love OnLive. And I love these kind of virtual event tools because the whole world, the last 2 years has been has completely transformed to doing virtual events. So I was also taken by surprise, but we all want to run our business and we have to keep doing something. And that is where my virtual event search for such a platform started, probably in March 2020 or April 2020. And I've been constantly looking at the best tool, and probably I believe that I've landed in the right tool with OnLive, because this is, as you rightly mentioned in your website, is an all-in-one virtual events management platform, and I definitely could see it. And there are two things I really like. That's what I shared to the community before we even began the demo. One is the kind of support that I've been getting from your team. It's been fabulous. And the second thing is, your team has been absolutely approachable in terms of taking our feedback and all those things. And I really appreciate you and your team for that. And that's what made me feel that they should OnLive should get more love from the community, and I requested you to be here with me. So welcome, Jonathan. So
Hey,
before we move on to the crux of this discussion, um, what is the background of OnLive? Why did you guys develop? Was it just because of to take advantage of this pandemic situation, or was there a plan before itself in terms of creating a virtual event platform? So can you just throw us some light over why OnLive and what was the background of OnLive?
absolutely, Venki. And thanks for having me. It's great to be here, and it's fantastic to connect with your audience across the multiple groups that you are so involved in. And to first answer your question about our background, we came from sort of a bespoke agency building up technology for campaigns, agency, being that sort of tech intermediary. And we started at 2012 here in Singapore. So we're Singapore based. We have a bit of remote workers across the region, spanning from Philippines, Indonesia, Russia, guys in India as well, and a couple of guys in Europe. So we're definitely in the region of where you are at as well. So back to the background, we started building that out sort of as a bespoke solution, and then we decided that we were a bit tired of the agency life and project based sort of projects. So we went ahead and decided that we will streamline a lot of the technology that we had built up, and of course the domain expertise that we had accumulated over those years from 2012 to 2018. And we launched in 2019 our sort of first iteration of the software as a service. Scroll forward 3 months, pandemic hits. We were sort of infant on the streaming capabilities. We were more on the website landing page builder, the invitations, the communication aspects, the hybrid tools for check-in, badging, and all of that. But we doubled down on sort of the streaming tools and did that across 2020, across multiple iterations, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and swearing at times. So that was sort of our journey of 2020. And then 2021, we went on live with a new version of the platform. So that has been a very interesting year, and we have onboarded a lot of customers that we are extremely proud of, both big and small. And that goes from community with a very solid cause to agencies to the big sort of Fortune 100 brands that we all like to brag about on our websites. But of course, they are not the only customers that we have or wish to have, because they do absorb a lot of time as well,
Yes.
as everyone
Right.
knows. So that is sort of our journey to date. And again, my background is a front end developer. Nowadays, I spend sort of my time between product and sales.
Okay.
So that's sort of my background and the team's background.
Fantastic. Hi Aditya, hi Unais, and hi Joe. Joe, we are not streaming this from OnLive, and that was a request that I placed to Jonathan because all my social media, already this thing is all connected with my rest stream, and you know that I know I need to stream it to a couple of other groups as well. So everything is interconnected in rest stream. So though we did have an option to go live from OnLive, it was my choice to use Restream, so bear with me. I will definitely do another session, where I go live from OnLive only, and probably a different tool. But this one just allow me because I had very less time to configure everything. And I mean, I even put Jonathan in a spot by making him come on this tool. So just bear with me on that. Uh,
Happy to.
yeah.
I'm not picky.
So Jonathan, one thing that I really wanted to appreciate is, see, in fact, when OnLive, I mean, came up, and when it came up, I was probably one of the first few people to look at OnLive, and immediately I gave a review saying that, the studio part is very good and all those things. If you want a studio, buy OnLive, and it comes with various other features, and I really appreciate the honesty. When it was communicated, if you're just buying it for the studio, do not buy us, but buy it, if at all you're looking at a overall all in one virtual event platform, because the studio is still not at the stage where you can just buy it for the studio alone. I really appreciated that because when an independent reviewer is talking about it, and you guys immediately came and corrected me, saying that, please, let's not mislead people. So
No,
please.
I don't think that would be beneficial at all to do sort of do false advertising. And like you say, we are an all-in-one tool. There are some sort of single products out there that are better at certain aspects than we are, because that's the only thing that they do.
That's
So
right.
say, for example, we have a Q&A functionality, but we're not only I won't mention competitors that only are doing surveys and things like that, but there are tools that are having more options for weighted voting and sort of all of those very complicated formats of votes that you can have. But the reason why people appreciate us is that they can manage everything in one platform, sort of from start to finish, without having to leave one platform. And they can
Yeah.
do that sort of on a rinse and repeat basis if you're running road shows or a weekly session like yourself, for example. Yeah.
Got it. So, Jonathan, I do not know if I'm probably putting you in a fix. See, if had you asked us 2 years back about this virtual event platform, etc., probably we did not know anything beyond, say, Zoom or WebEx. Beyond that, it was not. There wasn't any need, to talk to somebody who's actually living in the next street or something like that, and
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
because in typically to meet a customer who is sitting across the ocean, that's when we used to use webex and these kind of tools.
Uh-huh.
And probably for personal it is Skype. Beyond that we have not thought about this kind of virtual event. But after 20 months now, uh, there seems to be quite a lot of tools. There's so many tools that has come up. And I do not know, I mean, from a customer standpoint, I see that now it's become overcrowded. So in this space, and I know I'm sure you would have done your market research and you still feel that there is a market for one more tool like this, etc. But then from an end user perspective, I believe that there are too many tools that are really available. And in this whole I mean, set of tools, yes, I think you answered it before. But then can I know what is probably the USP of Onlive, which differentiates this from other tools?
Great question. So absolutely, there is a lot of tools, but what we also see now is that customers have tried and errored a couple of tools before they coming to us. So they sort of have a better understanding of what they want and what they need, and they are sort of planning for the future. And disregard the latest news of this new variant, we're still seeing customers coming with sort of a 2 year plan on that they will run virtual, hybrid, and in-person deployments, and they would like to be on sort of the same tool across those deployments, which is sort of a relief for us because it's much easier to say that we fit the needs or we don't fit the needs, rather than saying that, oh, we saw this very cool virtual event, it had 3D worlds, it was having sparks and flies, can you build it? No, that's not really what we do, right? So it's much more mature, and people are now saying that, okay, we grew out of running it on a UCAS system, like one of those that you mentioned. That sorry to use the term here, but the Zooms and the whatnots, right? So
Got it.
they need something more and something that better fits their branding, and that they want to have it Coca-Cola red or another sort of color across all of their the different digital properties that the
Got it.
end customer would go through. So that's definitely the case what we're seeing now.
Fantastic. So, without taking much time, can we quickly show the community as to what OnLive can do? Can we just give a quick demo in terms of its capability and functionality?
Absolutely. So I'll give 15-20 minutes demo. That's sort of the
Please,
time we
please.
have.
That would be
Yep,
that would
yep.
be helpful.
All right, all right. So I'll share my screen.
1 minute.
Okay, you see my screen?
So you are,
Here we are.
yes, you
All
are
right.
live.
So as mentioned, this is an all-in-one virtual event management platform. We have a bunch of tools that I will walk you through, but we focus on the event registration, the communication aspects of the event, so invitations and reminders and so forth. The virtual platform, where you have your polls, your streams, and the studio. So that's the sort of the aspects that I will bring you through. First, I will start with doing it from the end user perspective, because I think that's the ultimate goal for you as a organizer out there that's on the fence, is to see what will your customer experience. So it starts with an invitation. This is just a simple invitation that I just built up, and I'm viewing this in the browser instead of using my Outlook. So I don't have to share all my emails with the entire community. All of this is customizable. You can remove our logo from here. This is just an example. The banner here is possible to remove as well. You have two buttons, register and decline. If I press register, it will take me to the registration website. This is an example of a registration website. You can have a video banner background, your logo, a banner, sort of a call to action here for register now sort of button. There is content blocks. You can build up as many content blocks as you want. In this case, I put a video here, but it could be a write-up, it could be an image, it could be something else. And I can, of course, add in more content blocks like a countdown timer. So you can press starter here in this case. I have the space for a multi-day agenda, so I can have several days of sessions. Read more will take me to a second level where I can read about that. I can also link to the speaker that you see here. And below, again, if it's a hybrid event, maybe there's a venue, you can put in a physical address. The speaker list is available, so you can go through and see all of the speakers. Again, if you would click on one of the speakers, you would also see which session that they are, or sessions that they are speaking at. Sponsors, you can have several tiers of sponsors. So gold, silver, bronze I've set up here. And then we come down to the ticketing part. We support single tickets, group tickets, so for multiple purchases. They can be private, so they need a password to enter the ticket, or they can be invite only, so that only the people that are in the invite database can access this form. That goes for the entire registration website as well. So the entire registration website could be set to invite only. It comes with a relatively comprehensive form builder. So you can create what we call segments. These segments would be that if I say that I want to attend in person, maybe there is some disclosure forms or similar that I need to upload. There's time pickers, date pickers, file uploads. Of course, there's standard type of fields like country drop downs and so forth. So you can build up sort of a form to capture the information that you need to gather for this particular event. So then there's social media stuff. You can specify what's organized the event. This logo you can remove, so we don't have to be visible there. However, I know this is a question. The powered by Onlive is there. So that would be sort of the registration website. And after you register, there would maybe be a little gap, and you maybe just receive a thank you email automatically, a confirmation email together with your purchase receipt. And then maybe there's a reminder email that is sent together with a magic link that allows you to log into the virtual platform. So inside of the virtual platform, we have, again, some space for a banner. We have what's going on live, sort of the sessions that are currently going on, upcoming sessions. The same sponsors that you already have populated will automatically be available here. We have sort of content possibilities here as well. This can be used for donation drives, external website, as well as something that's just sitting inside of the platform. But you could link this to an external website as well. There is an event-wide chat that is for chatting on the event-wide level. There is the people tab that is if you enable networking. Again, sort of to recap, we're modular, so if there's something that you do not need, you can turn that off. Then the inbox would be my private messages that I received from other attendees. We have a little gamification module. This gamification module allows you as an organizer to set the point structure, what should be giving out points. This is usually changed to maybe a small gift, maybe some swag that you can give away, or some gift cards or similar, to incentivize participation and incentivize that people take the opportunity to network with each other, visit sponsor booths, and so forth, conducting polls and yes, participating in the event. Um, and then there's the leaderboard, of course, to show that. So if we go into sessions, this is where we have our sessions. And if I would go into one of the ongoing sessions, I can do that from here. I have my agenda, that's stuff that I have bookmarked, and past sessions is sessions that I have already passed. Past sessions would usually could also, you could set the recording of the stream here, so you can leave that as an on-demand video, so that people that miss the actual live stream can go back and watch this sort of stream again. Here we are now have in a session, we have the write-up of the session, we have the speaker, we have a session-specific chat, we have the people tab and the inbox. Again, if I join this stream, it would have waiting for host to start if no one is sending it. It has Q&A. This Q&A can be moderated so that you accept questions. I'm currently logged in as a moderator, so you see that this question is pending. I don't think well is a valid question, so I could reject this question. There's also the chat as well as the Q&A, so that takes off a little bit of nonsensical questions from sort of a live stream. In addition to Q&A, we have poll, quizzes, word clouds, as well, and survey, a session-wide survey that you can launch from here. If you're using our web-based studio, you can allow for ask for microphone. That means that anyone from an attendee perspective can request for microphone. I can specify what I want to talk about, and the host would then approve it. We have something that's called breakout sessions, where I can set up unlimited number of group rooms, where up to 18 people can be at the same time and have discussions. And that's used, I guess, for workshops. It's also used for sort of roundtable discussions and similar. So people can join and discuss these sort of topics. You can also predefine who is sitting on each of these rooms, so that instead of it being free seating, it's I'm defined to be in the football room for a particular time slot, and then for the next time slot, maybe I'm in the leadership room. That way, when I go into breakout rooms, I would only see the football room at first, and then the leadership room, depending on the time, and sort of the agenda would be reflecting the sessions that I'm assigned to. And that's good for if you want to sort of run a carousel between different topics, and that people should visit 3 of these rooms, for example. Inside of our sponsor tab, again, we have the same sponsors that we had shown before. If I would enter one of the sponsors, it has the ability to host a bit of content. You can upload a logo, you can upload one white paper. If you need to add more, you can upload this as a zip file. There's the space for video content. You can have a little video here and have that here. You can have also social media links and website. You can schedule a meeting with a representative. You can have multiple representatives per sponsor, and that would again be linked to sort of the networking, which will be my final tab under the client-facing part of the demo. So inside of the networking aspect, I can go in and click on someone. I can schedule a meeting. I schedule a meeting with him 9 a.m. It would then be listed as pending until this person accepts the meeting. When it's accepted, the meeting will take place inside of this platform as a one-to-one video call. And you can block out your availability, and that's when on the first join, it will block out the availability, so that you can, you can block out the availability. Okay, so this would be the part of the sort of client-facing parts, and now I will take you to the dashboard, how you as an organizer manage this. This is the homepage. From here, you can duplicate an event. So if you have set up once, you can duplicate that again. Specify a new domain maybe. And on the topic of domains, we support vanity URLs like this with online events, but we can also set this up using a custom domain like this one here in this case. So if we go to the registration website, I won't go into every single module because that will be taking too much time. But as you can see here, it's relatively easy to structure your content, drag and drop this, turn it on and off. You could add in more content from below. And if you're working on some content, you can leave that to hidden while you're working on it, and maybe it's a thank you note when the event has ended, and then you just turn it off, turn it on when time is. In terms of integrations, there is a bit of integrations here. We can include a Google Analytics so that it's automatically capturing website visits and all of that stuff, as well as Google Tag Manager. So if you're running marketing campaigns, you want to maybe have those two tools communicate with each other. And then maybe you want to set a Facebook pixel so you can run a little bit of remarketing. We do support Intercom. That's the only chat widget we support. So if you want to have a help chat on the website, you can implement Intercom as well. And in terms of exclusivity, I mentioned it briefly on the registration website. You can allow it to be public. You can allow it. You can set it to password protected or to invite only, so that only the people that are in your invite database would get access to the event. And again, if you want to update this, you would set the workspace domain, and it would be either using one of our vanity URLs, or you can point the CNAME to us, and it will use your domain. So I guess that would be that on terms of the registration website, and we can move forward a little bit to the maybe communication, since that would be the first thing you would probably start with is after that, after you've set that up, you will want to send up an invitation. We support invitations, reminder invitations to the ones who have not responded. And I guess reminders is for the ones that has registered. So if you want to send out a magic link or just a reminder to remind them that the event is coming up in X number of hours, days, and so forth. As you know, the virtual event does not necessarily have the same commitments that you have as for an in-person event. So if it's really recommendable to send a couple of reminders to keep people aware of that the event is coming up. So sending a reminders to the people that have registered. The thank you is for the people who are who then have attended your event. So if I go into the invitation here, under general settings here, that's if you wanted to set your own SMTP address. So you can set that up to use your own email address to send. Each of these different types of communication aspects have a little bit of different short codes or buttons. So for invitation, we saw the registration and decline and the calendar link, while as, for example, for the reminder, we would have the ability to send that via SMS as well, actually, but also email. But from here, we can send a QR code if you're doing a hybrid event and you want to do a check-in. Maybe you want to show them what they have previously booked, and then the ability to edit your booking so that you can maybe change your sessions before the virtual event starts. You can also change that from inside of the virtual platform, but if you allow that, but it's a good way to sort of limit the amount of admin work for yourself. The same thing goes for transfer buttons. Transfer buttons is if someone has purchased the ticket, they're not unable to go. They would like a refund, but you don't issue refunds. So they want to send that to someone else. So then I can give away my ticket to someone else who then has to accept it and update the guest record. Then lastly is the magic link. send the magic link to get the direct login into the virtual platform. So that would be that on the communication aspects. And if we go into the virtual platform, it's very similar to the registration website. You have sort of the different modules here. You can set up the breakout rooms, as I mentioned. You can structure, sorry. You can structure the number of rooms that you have. You can set the room opening hours. You can set which rooms that are available. If it's all rooms, selected rooms, max capacity, if it's free seating, or if you want to select attendees that are sitting in a specific room. Chat log, if you want to remove certain messages, you can go in here and empty it or clear it if you've done a bit of tests. And then under gamification, you can set your point structure and so forth. For the studio, I'm just going to off my camera for a second and I'll go into the studio. So I just selected the session I want to stream to. So it's that I can have unlimited number of concurrent sessions happening at the same time. I selected the session that is one of my agenda sessions, and now I'm entering the studio. And when I'm entering the studio here, I have the ability to set different layouts of how the stream should look like. I can invite speakers, they will all appear under here. And I could control if I have any videos I wanted to play. So let's say a countdown before the stream starts. If I have gone live once, my previous stream would appear here as a recording. I could then add that to media, and I could stream this as if it was live. So we support video uploads or reusing your sort of dry run. So for the ones that do not want to have everything live, you maybe want to have a recording instead. You are able to do that. You can also monitor your Q&As, approve the questions, set up your polls. Maybe you set them up and you don't want them to be visible and turn them off from here so that they are already set up but not visible for the attendees. And then they would automatically be sort of shown for the attendees. Under stream settings, I can choose if I want to use Onlive Studio or my own RTMP. That means that we could push in the tool that VenBa is using right now, OBS, or one of the other sort of downloadable softwares and push that across to us. If I wanted to send to one of the channels, we have a bunch of predefined channels here, or a custom RTMP that could maybe be LinkedIn or one of the other platforms. I can specify the watermark. And if I don't want people to raise hands, I can turn that off. So that would sort of be the, if there's any raise hands coming in, I can approve them from here. So this would sort of be the main aspects of the functionality that we offer. We do offer also the attendee check-in. I'll just touch on that very, very quickly. You can set check-in method, QR code, and search by name. It's a downloadable iOS app. It's only available for iOS today. The reason for that is that iOS seems to be most widely available for renting. As if you need to rent tens of them, perhaps for an event. So I can set search by or QR code. So the fallback method would then be first name, last name in this case. Or I could set it to ticket ID. So if they don't have the QR code, I could set up my design of the badge, of the app. I can design it so it looks like my brand, and I can also set up badging. So if I wanted to do badge printing, I could select printing method. Maybe I'm just doing label sticker prints. Then we have Brother. If you're doing more high volume, I would recommend going with Zebra, which is again something that you would probably rent. So you would rent Zebra printers. and then you could have sort of those fan folded badges that you are used to seeing for trade shows and similar. So that would be that on the check-in part. And then we are going to the final chapter, which is the reporting. So registration reports, quite straightforward. It captures all of the key statistics here, how my tickets are performing. Registrations by referral source is automatically captured without using Google Tag Manager. So you can see which campaign drove in the most registrations. Same thing with registration by country. You can see here that it's been a little bit all over the world for my demo property here. And then if I want to see specific tickets and all that, I can have a waiting list for my registration page. So I can then go in here and cherry pick who I want to approve or delete. And then I can see how sort of the signups for the different sessions are performing as well. On the revenue side of things, we support Stripe, PayPal, and Zero. I don't have any revenue for this particular demo property, but the revenue would be listed here. You can set up your vouchers, and from the transaction page, you could actually issue also refunds. So if you need to issue a refund, you don't have to go to one of these payment gateways. You can sort of do that from the transaction tab here. Communication, it shows invitation conversion. I guess that's an interesting metric to look at. How many people on your email invitation have not responded, how many registered and or declined. The email log would show all of your emails sent so that you can also look at the email. If someone didn't get the email, it's quite good to be able to download that as PDF for the viewable HTML link that I'm showing here. And the bounce and unsubscribe list would be people who have bounced or unsubscribed from your event. And you could actually, if you think it's a faulty bounce, remove them so it's trying to resend to these people again. I think attendance is sort of self-explanatory, so I won't touch on that in with regards to time. But attendance captures when people were checked in using the iOS app and who it was. And virtual platform, it shows my attendance over time, how often, when people logged in. It's using quite a long time span here, so I guess yours would be probably 3 days or something like that to look at it. The turnout, where people logged in from, it shows the heat map of usage across the application, so number of messages sent, breakout room visits, and poll responses and all of that. And the same thing goes if you go into a specific stream or a specific session. You have the Q&A messages, the chat reactions, the hello question that I didn't approve, poll response rate, as well as stream statistics if there would have been a live stream. So I think that is almost done. I'm going to go back to the homepage again. Under the team and permissions tab, you can create multiple teams. So if you're having maybe 2 customers or if you're a company and having 2 different offices, you might want to create them into 2 different teams. This allows us to sort of segment your seats, so that if I'm on a team that should only see Helix, I won't see the test duplicate 3. So that's a good way of keeping 2 different customers in the same platform under your account, or multiple team members at the same time. You as an owner will of course see all of them. In terms of integrations of pushing our registration data, we support Zapier and Salesforce. We will improve that over time. So Zapier, you can connect with Zapier, you can select which events to sync, and then we'll push the data over to Zapier. And the same thing goes for Salesforce. You can set sort of a workflow on creating campaigns, set the lead status, and if the user already exists on Salesforce, maybe you only want to add them into the campaign that has automatically been created inside of Salesforce. And if they would cancel on our side, on Onlive, maybe you want to move them to a different deal stage. So those are sort of the integrations that we have that can be used to push content. Um, we are definitely looking into to more of these. We understand that that would be healthy for many companies to be able to use other CRM systems or sort of marketing automation tools, and use the data that we help to collect. So we will definitely look into adding more of these over time. So I think that would be my demo. And let's see why my camera is not showing here. Hmm. It doesn't want to show my camera anymore for some reason. I think it's occupied the process maybe.
Okay.
So let's see here how I can do that. No, I think this tool doesn't allow me to put the camera back. That's a bit sad. Um, if I refresh the page, would I be automatically coming back then?
Yeah,
Okay, and I just refresh. Give me a second.
I'm sorry, there's been a technical glitch with respect to because Jonathan used his camera on the Onlive platform as well. So Restream is probably not allowing him to share it again. So he's just has to go out of this, go out of the stage and be back. So while we are waiting for him, please keep your questions coming. You can probably win a lifetime subscription to Onlive, in the end of the session, as we always do. Um, there's been some interesting questions, so let's ask all those. I'm still waiting for Jonathan to be back. Yes, he's back. Okay, so Jonathan is back,
I'm
and
back.
we could see
Sorry
that.
about that.
Yeah, fantastic. So there's been a lot of questions, Jonathan. While you are giving the demo. So I mean, I'm not sure. This is from Brijesh. How is it compared with respect to Webinar Jam? Have you done any comparison? Do you know about Webinar Jam? How is it when compared to Webinar Jam?
I am not super familiar with that tool,
Okay,
but I would imagine that similarly to sort of some of the other more stream focused application, that they
that's
are
right.
not so comprehensive in terms of landing page builders, attendee management, the collecting of the data, as well as maybe a little bit on the engagement side with Q&A polls and sort of the networking functionalities. But that's just it's a little bit premature of me to say that because
Exactly.
I'm not too familiar with that tool, to be honest.
Okay, and also I think on these evergreen webinars, you just record it and just schedule it and it keeps happening. So is there any feature like that in online?
Um, Not an evergreen, no. It's not we don't have an evergreen functionality. You would have to duplicate it. So if you're running the same sort of session across multiple deployments, you would have to duplicate the sort of the property and specify the date for your subsequent deployments.
Fantastic. So you showed us the studio, and there was a OnLive logo in the studio. So can I customize that OnLive logo,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
will it remain as
The,
OnLive?
yes, absolutely. You can remove that logo. So that's no problem to remove.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I mean, a follow-up question on that is, what is the resolution with which it gets streamed?
If you're using our web-based, it's 720. If you're using RTMP, it's 1080.
Okay, so it is if you use a web page, it is 720. If you are RTMP, it is then HD. Is that right? Okay,
Exactly.
fantastic.
And the reason for that is that most web cameras that are WebRTC is 720.
Okay, okay, fantastic. So Mausam Chaudhary is asking, chat is the chat only text or can people share images also in the chat?
It's only chat and emojis.
Okay, it's only text and emojis that could be shared.
Yes.
Okay, so Brijesh is asking a question where he wanted to know the frequency of updates. So in the last 2 months, ever since you launched the deal, what has been some notable features that has come up in the application?
I'm actually putting up a little bit of online roadmap updates here, so maybe we can share that a little bit. I
Yes,
think
yes, yes.
one. Thank you, thank you. I think that uh, maybe a lot of work has been sort of been behind the scenes of scale ups and all of that on the security and infrastructure and getting our SOC 2 compliance and all of that. That is not necessarily visible, but an important aspect is, of course, trusting the company. Um, but implementing low latency HLS, so the web stream is now having lesser latency than it had before. With normal HLS, it's probably around 20 seconds. With low latency HLS, it's close to 7 second. So that is sort of an improvement. We are working on our new update of the headless browser. So for you, it's again a little bit technical, but our studio's limitation in terms of layouts and all of that is because we're using sort of an API based module to create the different streaming tiles and all of that, which doesn't allow us to add in virtual backgrounds and all of that. So migrating to headless browsers would give us much closer to what we're experiencing now in terms of the flexibility of layouts, lower thirds, banners, and other cool effects that we can then drag in. Sort of the poll results is something that we want to be able to include inside of a stream, as well as not just having it as a share screen, if you will. So that is going to be a major update. And then, of course, there's been quite a bit of questions on our public roadmap, that is roadmap.onlive.io, with features being requested. One of the top voted is Webhook support. So being able to feed in registration data to us via webhooks so that we can accept registrations from your WordPress form or other sort of tool that you use in order to capture registrations and feed that over to us via webhook. So that is something that is absolutely planned. Then dual QR code for the check-in app so that you can use any app to do a guest check-in. I think that's a useful one. So you could use your normal iOS camera or Android camera and then do the QR code check-in without having to use our application if you don't need to. So there's definitely been a bit of updates on both of all of our tiers, but no real major shipments in the last couple of months. It's more like doubling down on the things that work, adding more flesh to the bones, getting infrastructure improvements as well as compliance improvements. And again, it's nobody wants to buy from someone who can't be trusted.
Okay, that's fantastic. Um, Okay, I mean, I want you to pay attention to this particular comment that is on the screen, Jonathan, because I do not know, for some reason you guys have been defensive on this particular aspect. So, I mean, when I saw the studio, I really liked it. And probably now when you showed the demo as well, this is the comment that is coming. So, I mean, I really do not know what is making your team being very defensive, saying that, our studio feature. Uh, I mean, you've been very defensive on the studio feature. So maybe not now, but at a later stage, are you even looking at making a very robust studio feature so that we can start using Onlive as a studio only? Probably for my live events, etc. Is that there in the roadmap in
You
terms
mean
of
breaking
development?
it out so that you could use it as a sort of a standalone feature without the rest of the software is what you're aiming for. Um, I wouldn't say no. Then again, I feel it's quite a crowded space and all of that. And there's apps popping up every single day almost that are doing that stuff only. Um, but it wouldn't be a great job for us. I guess it's more on the UX than on the tech side, so that it's clear to you that you could use create an event where I only need to use the studio. So it's more on that side than it's actually technically difficult. So um, if that's something that what the audience and our customers would appreciate, I don't see why not. I just feel that it might be a little bit difficult to compete with this very established like Restream and then StreamYard and a couple of others that are quite established in the space today.
Absolutely. No, I mean, see, yes, definitely, but I'm not really looking at a standalone application, but we are greedy. If you can give an all-in-one event platform, which also includes a phenomenal studio, I mean, definitely it's something that would be pretty interesting. So just keep that in mind because I think this is constantly happening. Somehow we've been uh, fairly impressed with the studio version. So just keep that in mind. Probably when you're designing a roadmap, etc. Okay, going back to another question, yes, we saw that you are having Zapier integration, but I mean, do you have Pably also in your roadmap? Because Pably is fairly popular, after Zapier and more
Yeah,
affordable as. So is
yeah.
that layer?
There's. I think we will probably follow the public roadmap that we have and the votes that are coming in. And there are a couple of tools. Public is one that's mentioned. Integrate is another one that has been mentioned a couple of times. And obviously, we have limited resources. We are quite um, sort of quite sensible when it comes to spend and all of that. So we have we have a modest team. So we will have to prioritize based on of course needs. So definitely the public roadmap will help to dictate how we prioritize our resources. Another question that has been coming in quite a bit is adding dual or multilingual support.
Uh,
And given the fact that virtual event is so global, it's quite an interesting feat. And at the same time, we want to make it so I can have Spanish attendees, even though I'm running an event from Singapore, together with Singaporean or Indian attendees that could then see parts of the platform in their local language on the client facing side. So that's also something that we are probably going to release that we can run dual language events in 2022.
okay. So let's move on to the fee part. Do you charge a percentage fee for paid registrations? If yes, what is the percentage?
We do, and I believe it's 5%. I believe. Let me double check.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm sharing your screen.
So we're looking at the deal now.
Yes, $5.
Yep.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes, correct. And
And
an overage on free registrations. So if you have more usage than what's included, you can pay.
so is there I mean, minimum number of free registrations per month, or you charge 5% right from the first this thing itself? Is there a I mean, this thing in terms of saying that first 100 or 200, there is nothing, and beyond that, the fee or the
No,
fee
it's
is right
not
now.
staggered in that sense. So for paying tickets, it's from one and up.
Fair enough. So there are some follow-up questions on that. In fact, somebody has read my mind as well. In terms of the currency that can be, I mean, accepted. I mean, can we accept any currency, or is there a limitation in terms of it is US dollars or Singapore dollars, etc.? Because the other platform that I'm using, I can't accept Indian rupees. So, is there
Correct.
any
So
limitation?
it's this the payment gateway dictates which currencies that we can accept. So PayPal, you have a set of currencies, and for Stripe, you have a different set of currencies that you can accept. And those are the only payment gateways that we have um, implemented today plus zero. And zero is, I guess, a USP because you can then issue PDF invoices that people can pay using bank transfers. You can connect different payment gateways to zero, and then they
Yeah.
would settle there. But we don't have any, say, Indo-specific or Indian-specific payment gateways implemented just yet. And
Yeah.
the reason for that is that some of them are not as straightforward as PayPal, where I just click on connect with a button to connect with a third-party platform like ourselves, where you would be considered merchants. So that has been one of the reasons why it's been taking a little bit more time on those, as well as not having too many customers in
Got it.
regions where PayPal and Stripe do not exist.
So just a request from the community. They're also asking you to look at Razor Pay because that is one
Yeah,
of the very popular payment gateways in India. So, if you need to, yeah, I mean, because lot of, I think they have a very
yeah.
large market in India. So, probably look at it, including in the roadmap if at all.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
So again, that is absolutely one of those roadmap items that you should be voting for. If Razorpay is what you're using, then definitely vote for that. And there's others like Asia Pay and Adyen and all those guys. If that's something that you're using, absolutely feel free to vote for them, and we will definitely try our very best to prioritize according to um, what users are actually using.
got it. So, this is a question on the chat. Is the chat unified for all channels while streaming, or is the chat only for people who are in OnLive? So, for example, here we could see all the messages from the various platforms. So, is that feature available in OnLive?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not. Yeah. So, right now it
It's
is only the ones
on
which
live
are
chat.
on live. Yeah, that, I mean, I've experienced that as well. I do know
Yeah.
that. Okay. This is a question of my interest as well. Brijesh is asking, any plan to add LinkedIn for live streaming?
So if you recall, when I went into the streaming studio, there was the destination called the customer TMP, and
Okay.
you could set that one to LinkedIn. So by I think you on LinkedIn you have to send in a request to get
Yes.
approval to stream,
Yeah.
and then you would get back the RTMP keys and address, and then
That's
you
right.
can add that in and stream directly to LinkedIn that way.
Okay. So there is no native integration, but we need to use the custom RTMP.
Correct.
And
Correct.
I mean, again, one question in my personal interest. How about Instagram? Because there's another platform that has just become very popular because they are the only ones probably who are supporting Instagram Direct. So is that there in the roadmap? Because
Well,
that is
Instagram does not support outside streaming, right? So it's a gray zone to stream to Instagram. So there's no official API that allows us to stream
true.
to Instagram. So that other platform has some sort of gray zone workaround to do it, I reckon, uh,
That's
which is I think when there's an official way of doing it, we would
we will do it.
absolutely be willing to look into it. It's we recognize that it's a fantastic platform. Same thing
True.
goes for TikTok and so forth, as well as other commerce platforms that are also of interest to look into Shopify and others.
Yeah, fantastic. So this question is about more about privacy. What data you as a company collect from your customers using your platform? So I mean, I think he's asking about my customers. So probably when I'm doing an event, there are data that is collected. Does OnLive share any of the data? I see. I can probably give you a background in terms of why this question is being asked because there is another popular platform where there has been complaints saying that they're spamming our attendees and all those things. So I believe this
We
question is more
yeah we
pertaining.
Yeah, I get the question. So we stick to sort of GDPR compliance, where we are a data processor, and their customer data belongs to our customers, and that is also, of course, stipulated in our user terms and inside of our sort of SOC 2 attestation as well on how we govern your data and what we can do with your data, who our third party processors are, and what contractual agreements we have with those. And if that is AWS or if it's Intercom and so forth, they are all being disclosed and we're transparent about that. We work with companies that would never consider working with us if we would share this sort of customer data to third parties. So that is not a good way for us to monetize on, not even free trials and whatnot. It's I don't consider that being a good way forward today in this age.
Yeah, and in fact, this is a nice question, and probably I do not know if there is a use case for a lot of people, but then definitely it will save, my skin here when I'm doing these events, because I need to really pick up names from various platforms to see who is engaging and pull them to my giveaway, and then use another platform to pick a winner. So, and
So
I think
lucky
that's,
draw sort of.
yeah, lucky draw. So, is there, I mean, I do not know if you really thought about it, but do think about it, because you will see the experience that we are going through when we are picking our winner. So just
Actually, it's been requested, especially during this season when you have a lot of now dinner and dance events have been moved to virtual, and a lot of those internal events are also looking for sort of lucky draw type of functionalities. We don't have one, sadly, but we do provide you with the attendance list, and then people have then done the same as we have done. Menki run that through a third-party platform, shared screen of who the lucky winners are, and that way being well. And I think that that's something that we should absolutely revisit when we have the new studio, that gives us more flexibility in terms of design. We could overlay that nicely across multiple
true.
tiles and have sort of the wheel spinning between us, and we pick out winners. That would be quite cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So just keep that in mind, if at all.
We'll
Okay,
do.
this
We'll
is
do.
on the plan. There are 800 free registrations per month. Do you offer rollover credits, or do they expire?
They
Probably,
expire.
they expire. Okay, there are no
They
rollover
expire.
credits.
Otherwise, in 10 years, you would have 8 million,
I
eight
know.
million credits. So we can't have that as the
In fact,
metrics.
I like the answer. In 10 years, you have 8 million. I think you have probably preempted the next question, by answering that. Let me display that question. Yes. Uh, I think this is, with so many video tools on the market, the LTD community often worries about which ones will survive. What would you say to OnLive users to feel safer about their investment?
We have responsible backers. We are driving profits. We didn't do this campaign to survive. We did it to get mass feedback. We did it in order to sort of prove that we could handle not only 30, 50 enterprise customers, but also sort of a smaller type of customers as well. So that was the reason behind this campaign. And we have sort of growth funding as well. So we're a healthy company, I would say.
Fantastic. So, Joe, in fact, this is precisely what I also felt when the other platform said that they will share our data. Nobody watches me, and I'm so happy if I've been shared by that. So, the
I
same
agree.
with
I'm a
me
little bit
as
the
well.
same. I opt in for all of those sort of things for Google Maps and all that. That makes me easier, my life easier.
Yeah. So, okay, please share the roadmap URL. Do you have a URL for the
Yep.
roadmap, Jonathan?
It's
Can you just share it in the
row.
private
Yes.
chat so that can be
Yes.
shared with?
Can.
Yeah, roadmap.onlive.io. That's the 1 minute. Let me display that. Okay, that's it. So this is the roadmap URL for the roadmap.onlive.io. So you can see the public roadmap. Probably do. Can they like or upvote any of the features? Yes, it's
They
a
can.
public
They can. They
roadmap.
can. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can upvote any of
You
the
can
features that.
absolutely edit to shape which features will be prioritized.
Okay, fantastic. I think we've answered all the questions. There is one question that is probably pending. Fine. Anyway, I will display that as well. Are you plan? This is from Beran Turk. He's asking, are you planning to implement requesting or giving remote control feature? Okay, this is more of a meeting tool, but I do not know if you have any implementation for that. This in your roadmap, or are even considering this feature.
Rem, can you elaborate a little bit on that? I'm not sure I really understand how the
Like,
remote control
see,
would
when
work.
when you are sharing your screen, probably giving me a remote control feature so that I can control your screen.
Um, first of all, I think you got that. There's no, it's not being planned because I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
It's an interesting idea. I think collaborative screens implementation with say Miro or Google Presentation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When it comes to giving remote access, actually, first time I hear it, and that would sort of be a team viewer sort of functionality, I guess. Um, I think more on the collaborative tools is probably where we would end up going rather than giving sort of those extensive permissions to be able to control
Okay.
multiple screens.
I think you can probably start with co-browsing, so that because that's what primarily we keep sharing, I mean,
Exactly.
co-browsing, because Zoom has got this feature, you can take remote control from
Right.
another, I mean, when somebody is sharing screen, you can give permission to other. So I think that's what Baran is,
Okay.
talking about. I mean, we generally want to replace, when we buy a tool, you want to replace
Yep.
everything with just one tool so that it gives me all the features. I do not know. Sometimes, I mean, rightly said in the beginning, to do a virtual event, I need to, I mean, use quite a few applications, for ticketing, this, that, and all those things. Finally, OnLive is probably bringing everything in one go. The same way, probably, these are more for the meeting related things. So, I mean, if
Yep.
that would be good, you can. So I think we've answered. Okay, the one last question that's come from another stream, which unfortunately is not getting displayed in the stream. What is composite mixer? What is composite mixer? I do not know
Ah.
where it was.
Right. I think that was in the roadmap. So composite mixer is how we mix streams and the different layouts that you can have then in terms of tiling and so forth, and what's then being pushed out to your audience um, that are viewing it in different channels, if it's our virtual platform or if it's social media. You have a composite mixer in order to blend sort of these different streams and broadcast it.
Okay, so again, Genie has got one more. Genie platform is asking one more question. Is there an option to delete an attendee if we think that they are violating our rules and policies?
Yeah, you can delete them from the attendee list and you can remove them. However, one functionality that we will be adding is a block functionality. Currently, you can only delete them, and I think that it would be good to be able to just block them but keep them there as yeah, that you don't get an incomplete data set.
Okay, so I mean, I do not know. I mean, it's fine even if you are a late tuner. The question is, mm, okay, attendance report. Does it give me, in terms of who attended from what time to what time, in terms of the time spent and all those? Will I get detailed attendance report of any of my event?
Yeah, so it's captures registrations, logins, session views, and duration of the sessions. So if I logged in and out of the stream, it would capture both records because we see that quite a bit that people are now entering and jumping in and out between sessions, and maybe they have to go for a lunch break and it's similar, right?
Okay. So one more late tuner question. Can my guests attend any event without registering on OnLive, or should they necessarily register? Can
I
they
mean, you
just
can
put?
upload a CSV file and you can run the registration from elsewhere. It would still sort of eat on your usage credits. But if you're already having a system in place for or you have employees and you already know who they are, you could import them as a CSV file. They will still need to sort of log in with a minimum of their email and a generic password. Uh, because if it would be anonymous, it would be a little bit complicated with regards to who's commenting and things like that. So we used to have support for anonymous logins, but we took that away because of yeah, it just became a little bit too spammy and messy.
Got it. Got it. So I think, let me see one more time in all the streams if there are any questions. Looks like we've answered all the question.
Great.
Yeah, I think all we've answered all the questions. So thank you so much, Jonathan. Now let's go to the most exciting part of our session. So I've just made a note of all the people who commented on our stream in the various platforms, and I've just noted down the names. Okay, yes, Joe, 80s detective TV show Music Time is going to be there. So these are the people who commented. Um, if you have not commented, you're not eligible for the giveaway. I'll give you another 20-30 seconds for you to comment or see if your name is there. If it is not there, please comment your name, and don't just make a comment your name, because sometimes I don't get the names in the stream chat streaming, so it'll be very difficult for me to find your name. Yes, I think we are done. So shall I spin the wheel for a giveaway, Jonathan?
Go for it.
Okay, Joe, your favorite 80s detective TV show music. Anuj Tilwani, you were watching us from the Alston stream. So please comment and claim a free subscription of onlive.io. And if you don't claim it in the next 30 seconds, it will be forfeited. You need to be present. Okay, Abdul Rahman and Unais. So, Anuj Tilwani. Anuj Tilwani. Hey Joe, I'm playing the music, Joe, but I do not know why you are not hearing. Are others able to hear?
No, I don't hear the music either.
Anuj is not there. I'm sorry, Anuj. We may have to respin, respin to. No, he is not. He's not there. So I'm sorry, and you may have to respin. You will forfeit the. Oh God! Okay, that was so tight. Mausam Chaudhary, please comment on the stream that you are watching us. I think you are in the Bring Again stream. Mausam Chaudhary. Oh, okay, I'm here. So fine. I think Mausam wins the giveaway for Onlive. Mausam, please reach out to me. I will help you get the free subscription from Jonathan. So congrats, Mausam, and I mean, you've been a very engaging
Yeah.
participant as well. I
Happy
think,
to have you. Looking forward to
yeah,
having you.
exactly. So, and thank you everybody. And in fact, Joe, I'm sorry. Yes, I know you really wanted to win one, but you missed it. By a couple of names. Maybe you should log in as 2-3 names the next time to be to win this giveaway. I do not know who is no way. I think it should be okay. Fantastic. So that's it. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for being here with me. And if you have any other questions, if you're watching it at a later stage, whether it is in YouTube or in the Facebook groups or in LinkedIn, please comment your questions. Jonathan or his team would answer all the questions that are there posted under these videos. And even otherwise, their live support is very good. They've been very very supportive, and I have gone through that as I began with. They really handhold you. They've got probably one of the best support. They, I mean, immediately reach out to you. In fact, I really liked it, the moment they kind of understood what is my requirement and then gave me a demo. It's just not just like not really that, okay, immediately you ask for a demo, you give it. It's not like that. They really understood how I'll be using, what is important for me, and then showed me the right kind of features. So I really appreciated that. I'm sure that you will also love Onlive. So there is a discount that is available I mean, there's a deal that is available for some time. Please make the best use of it, because you may not get such a deal at a later point of time. So thank you, Jonathan, and
Thank you, Venki. Great being on. I really
yeah,
enjoyed it. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you, amazing audience as always. See you tomorrow with yet another VenBa Talks with another founder.